guys, so now we're gonna do an oil change here on this Hyundai Elantra. And as I've said on many of my do-it-yourself oil change videos, you have to take off the cap and the dipstick so that the engine can breathe when releasing all the oil, and it's the best way to make sure that you get all the old oil out. Probably not a bad idea also to check the condition just to make sure there's no metal or anything inside the oil, although in this car I doubt we'll have any problems. Nope, a little low, normal consumption, nothing bad, no metal. It only has, how many miles you said it was?
14,000.
14,000.
Just under.
You're not gonna have too many problems with this car. And dipstick out, old cap off, and now to the bottom. All right, so down we go. And oh, fantastic. This car has a plastic shield covering everything. So, looks like we're gonna have to remove all these little bolts, a bunch of little Phillips bolts. We got a couple 10s, mostly Phillips bolts, and 10 millimeters. And we'll get this guy off to do that oil change. All right, so how many bolts did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 10 millimeters and 6 Phillips plastic screws for this thing. A little overkill if you ask me, but hey. And yeah, it's gonna have to go back on because it's actually pretty important. It keeps objects away from, you know, denting your oil pan, things of that nature, and it actually helps with aerodynamics. So put the fucking thing back on. All right, now that we got that cover off, we can get to the drain plug right here. 17 millimeter wrench. I got my drain right under it, nice and lined up. Push the drain out my way for a second so I can crack this guy open. There you go. Pull the drain back in. And let's try to make sure that we aim correctly, so now we're gonna make a huge mess. Undo the bolts, and out goes the oil. We'll let that drain until it starts to drizzle. I could actually be draining this and remove the filter at the same time. Just need to move it a little bit, make sure I don't interfere with that oil. And then the filter is right here. Let me move this over a bit. This guy. So all I need now is my oil filter wrench. So then all you really need is either an oil filter socket or an oil filter wrench like this one. I have this one in my box. It's pretty universal, fits multiple filters. And just bite that sucker, squeeze tight, and break her loose. Now this part, as usual, do it slowly, don't rush it because it gets messy. If the oil is hot because the car was running for a while, you got to be careful because you will get burned. And then slowly remove it while holding onto it. Boom. And then just dump that right back into your drain bucket. Awesome.
The best for my baby.
And luckily for him, he grabbed the same Mobil 1 filter, which is fantastic. I'm a fan of the Mobil 1. Before you put this in, make sure that the seal, the old seal, doesn't stay on the surface here, because if it does, you'll when you put the new filter on, you'll have 2 seals in place, and then you'll have a massive oil leak when the car turns on. So what you want to do is make sure that it's not on there, which is clear it's not. Grab some of this old oil and put it around the new oil filter seal. All this does is lubricate the seals so that when you go and tighten it, you can tighten it much easier by hand because it's lubed up. So once it's tight, grab it hard. If you have a socket, For the filter, you can put it back on because you won't crush it. Do not use your oil filter pliers or wrench to tighten it back up, because you will crush the oil filter. Once that filter's in, find your drain plug, which I'm sure is lost in here somewhere. Let's see, I'm digging, and there she goes. Come back over to here. Put it back in the hole. There you go. Of course, don't just leave it hand tight, because that won't be enough to crush it to seal the drain plug. So you do have to put a wrench on it and tighten that sucker a little bit like that. And then, of course, after every single oil change, you should wipe everything clean so that it does not leak on your nice pavement, or in this case on that big ass shield. And now it's time to put that shield back in. All right, put that panel on, pain in the ass. And now it's time to put some oil in this car. We went and bought, which you'll find also how to shop for oil and Advanced Auto Parts, right? Or actually, where did we go to? AutoZone. And we got ourselves some Mobil 1. This car only takes 5 quarts, so we'll just be adding this puppy in there. Okay, let's start her up. Keep an eye on the dash. Everything sounds good. RPM is smooth. Let it run for a few seconds. Make sure that oil gets through the engine. And let's shut her off again. Alright, and now we're going to check that oil level. Clean off the first time. Let it sit for a second. Pop off. And, ooh, looks like we're low about half a quart. So it takes about 5 quarts exactly. Perfect. I'll top this guy off right now. Of course, we're going to check the oil level one more time. Better safe than sorry, you know? And there you go. Nice and full. Don't forget to subscribe right over here and check out these other videos.